Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on a 1996 Dodge Ram pickup with a 5.9 liter Magnum. There's a picture of it on your screen. Customer hasn't made it yet, but he's on his way. We're going to do pads and rotors. Right here I'm just showing you that I went ahead and put in new inner wheel bearings and seals. Those are the outer bearings. We're just waiting for him to get here. As soon as he does, we'll get started. Alright, 19 millimeter on the lug nuts. Typical Dodge fashion. Lug nuts are slightly swollen and I didn't get my half size sockets out, so we're just going to push through it. I'm just threading that back on a little bit to help remove it from the socket. And not all of them were swollen, but anyway, we'll get this wheel off here. And so now we're on my impact there. I got a 7mm hex. We're taking out the caliper slide pin bolts. There's only 2 of them. That's all that holds the caliper on in the front. So we'll get those out. And now I'm going to just take my pry bar here and try to get that caliper off there, but I wound up having to kind of try to compress it a little bit, get some of the tension off there to get it off. Whoops, almost fell. Ladies, there's James. I'll dive more into him later. He's actually the owner of the truck. And there we finally got the caliper off with some persuasion. Grabbing a caliper hook here so I can hang it up and out of the way while I get the rotor off. Excuse me. Anyway, so now I'm just taking a hammer and a small pry bar, and I'm knocking the cap off the spindle there so we can get to the spindle nut. And then just taking my pliers, straightening out the cotter pin. And then get that cotter pin removed. Tend to be struggling with it. Got it. There we go. Now there's a little cap that we're going to take off. And then the actual nut is underneath there. It's actually a 24mm if I recall correctly. And it shouldn't be that tight for you. I'll go more in depth on that when we talk about torque specs later, putting it back together. But you'll see here that I just take it off with a crescent wrench. And if you are interested, ladies, James back there, he's forklift certified and he has a CDLs. So he's got it going. He's got it going for himself. A real catch for anybody looking. So anyway, just getting that spindle nut off, and now we can just pop the rotor off. There is a washer. Also in there, but there, I've just fell off my leg, so there's that washer. I'm just going to put it over there. And now I'm just going to clean the spindle off, and I will put some new grease on it. Another fun fact about James, he's a Capricorn. He enjoys parasailing, long walks on the beach, and model airplanes. So keep that in mind. Hit me up in the comments if you're interested. So here we are. I'm just put some new grease on the spindle. And then, even though I showed you at the beginning of the video, this is just me packing the bearing and putting the seal in, the inner bearing and the inner seal. I am by no means the authority on bearing packing, so do it my way at your own risk. And I'm only going to show you doing this to one. It's the same for the other side as well. Now we're just going to set the bearing down in there. It only goes one way. The seal only goes one way. And grabbed a little thing from a seal and bearing kit just to tap it in. And it doesn't take much and it goes right in. Checking every so often. But you'll know it's fully seated when the tone of when the sound changes when you're hitting it. Just a few more extras just to make sure. And we are good to go. So now I'm just cleaning off the backside of the rotor before I install it up on the spindle. There, it can only go so far and then it stops. It's pretty easy, and then we're just kind of going to reverse order some things. So here I'm going to pack the outer bearing. Again, I am probably packing this bearing wrong, but it's just the way I do it. It hasn't failed me yet. But I've seen other videos where they gob it in their hand, and it's whatever. Your mileage may vary. So anyway, the outer bearing only goes in one way as well. Now we're going to follow it up with the washer, and it's keyed, so it can only go in one way. And then we're going to grab the spindle nut. Put it on by hand. It goes on pretty easy. Again, this thing doesn't go on very tight at all. So now we're going to torque it to seat the bearing at 20 foot-pounds. Once at 20 foot-pounds, then I'm going to back it off a quarter of a turn and you're good. So you can see at 20 foot-pounds it's still good, but there's my quarter turn. There's absolutely no slop, and that thing was smooth as butter. So now we're going to put the little, I forget what the name of that thing is, little like cage, retaining cage or something. But anyway, you put it on there and there's a lot of notches in it, and you just keep turning it till it lines up over your cotter pin hole. And then once you have it lined up, you put your cotter pin in, and then you're good to go. So now I'm just bending the end of the cotter pin. And do it however you like. Just as long as you can put the cap back on. So now I'm just going to grab the cap here. I'm going to clean some of this old grease out of it with a shop rag. And James also wanted me to mention that he's a sucker for old black and white movies. Really loves them. Stuff like Casablanca, you know, all those oldies. He's really into that. Real, true romantic. So just putting a little grease over top of the nut and the washer there. Not nearly as much as probably what was in there before. And we're just going to take our cap and just tap it back on. And then I'm going to clean the outside of the rotor off. And now we're going to address these brake pads. So as you can see there, the outer pads kind of held in with some retaining clips. So just pried it out, and then the inner one is actually got like some spring-loaded, I don't know what you'd call them on the back of it. They actually slide into the piston. And here I'm just compressing the piston with my piston compressor. James is also a sucker for kittens. Has a real soft spot for kittens. So if you have any kittens you want to get rid of, you hit me up and I'll get you in contact with him. So now I'm just kind of cleaning up the caliper here before I put some lubricant in there and the new pads. Just going through it with a wire brush, and then I'll spray it off with some brake clean. Gonna hang it back up here. I forgot there they are. Got my shop rags right there. So now I'm just I use Sil Glide. That's what I use on all my brake jobs. Just going to put a little bit around the piston, and then a couple on the ears of the opposite side of the caliper. If I haven't already mentioned it or not, James back there is forklift certified and also has his CDL license. I mean, the ladies are knocking down his door, but he is looking to settle down with one woman. So don't be afraid to hit me up, ladies, if you're in the comments. I will point you in the right direction. He's a real man's man. So anyway, that like clip on the back of that outer pad, it's got like little divots in that slide into recesses on the caliper. And they are a little stiff, so I use my pry bar to motivate them to get in there. Now everything's in there, just making sure it's tight. Just going to slide it down over the new rotor. Now I will admit, due to the beauty of editing, this goes together really quick. However, in reality, for some reason, I struggled to get these bolts started and lined up. So it took me probably 20 minutes just to do that. And I don't know why. I was probably distracted by the sheer awesomeness of James sitting back there in the corner, but, you know, I managed to power through it eventually. And I don't know a specific torque spec on these, so I just went by hand, and there is a little bit of confusing data online. So and some of it doesn't pertain to this type of brake caliper, so I just went with tight, and I think it's good enough. Could have fast forwarded through this ratcheting stuff, but I didn't. So you see, didn't go super over the top with it, and we'll do the same here on the top bolt. Another fun fact about James, he loves his mom. Spoke to her on the phone while he was there assisting me with this job. She was just happy I fixed his brakes and his brake light. I should say brake lights issue. Turned out all it needed was a fuse. Just a fuse. Anyway, so putting the lug nuts back on, getting the wheel back on, and we'll torque those lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds. So anyway, just a recap, James is single, ready to mingle, forklift certified, has his CDLs, has a full-time job, Capricorn, long walks on the beach, parasailing, model airplanes, loves his mom, loves black and white movies, you name it, he's your guy. Hit me up in the comments and I'll get you in touch with him. Anyway, see you in the next one.